Good morning and welcome to the secondary school. My name is Neil Crossland. I'm the principal of the secondary school, and it's been my pleasure to welcome the Year 6 students to our secondary school campus this week to experience what life has been like. Ordinarily we would have this meeting with parents in person. Unfortunately we are unable to do that, but I very much look forward to meeting you in person in August when the new term resumes. It's been great to watch the energy and enthusiasm and the tenacity coming through from your son or your daughter in the classrooms this week. They are certainly prepared and ready, it seems, for the Year 7 experience. I've likened the experience to buying a new pair of shoes. They look glitzy and pretty polished, but you never really know how comfortable they are going to feel until you put those shoes on and you begin to walk around. And that's, I guess, the whole purpose of the transition event this week, to ensure that students have a really thorough understanding of what the school ethos is like, perhaps in comparison to the primary school, and to get a real sense of what to expect when they join us in August. And they've certainly done a remarkable job in feeling at home, I think, as they've joined the classes this week. On behalf of the secondary school, we and the staff that teach here, we will always endeavour to ensure that your son or daughter has inspired learning, is nurtured in terms of their well-being, and really has that opportunity to ignite their passions in whatever they do. And we look forward to beginning that journey with them in August.
Good morning. Thank you for joining me today, as I hope to answer a lot of your questions regarding the transition from primary to secondary school. My name is Lee Phillips and I'm the head of middle school here at BISP. We've just completed day 3 of the transition programme this week, and I would like to say it's been a joy to meet many of your sons and daughters as they came across from primary school and engaged with a full, exciting and hopefully fun-packed timetable across many of our subjects here in the secondary curriculum. I was privileged to witness the students firing rockets using air pressure, getting their licence for using Bunsen burners in science, as well as competing both mentally and physically for colour house points in the sports hall and of course here in a Dragon's Den competition. I spoke to a lot of the students. I've tried to remember many of their names, and I'm really looking forward to meeting them again in August when they come across to the secondary campus. As part of the presentation today, I am hoping to answer many of your questions, as I've been answering questions from the students on Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday this week. However, if there are any questions that are answered, please have a look at the FAQ, the Frequently Asked Questions document, which I'm going to attach to this link, and of course you can contact me by email at lphillips@bisphuket.ac.th. That email will be provided at the end of this presentation. When students first come across from primary, I'm always intrigued to see whether there'll be a lot of nervousness, anxiety, all of a sudden becoming a small fish in a big pond. And this week I did see a few nervous faces, lots of students grouping together, safety in numbers. But I also found a lot of very inquisitive students who wanted to explore the main teaching building. They wanted to ask lots of questions about their subjects. There were 3 really big questions that kept coming up. One was about homework, how much homework they were going to get, what did the homework system look like. Another question was about detentions. They'd heard all about these things called detentions. What were they? How would they find themselves in trouble via detention? And the last one was about bake and how and when they could access our in-school coffee shop bake. Of course, I know from my experience in education at middle school that there are far more pressing issues and topics that the students will need to know about as they come start to face their transition in August. And so over the 3 days I tried to answer lots of questions outside of those 3 initial areas of interest and try to get them to really feel and understand what will be happening in August as they move towards their new curriculum. The national curriculum is covered in its full extent in BISP. We cover 13 subjects, ranging from the core subjects of English, science and maths. We have the arts covered with drama, art and music. The humanities are studied through geography and history. We have a full and extensive computing programme, as well as 2 large design technology labs, fully equipped with 3D printers across computing and design technology. We also have PE with the large sports hall, swimming facilities and all other excellent facilities here at BISP that many of the students would have been experiencing throughout their time already. And we also have a full languages department. Now, as part of the Thai requirements, every student will study Thai studies. If the student is taking Thai A, which is Thai first language, then they will take 12 subjects. If they're taking a modern foreign language which is not Thai A, for example Mandarin, Spanish or French, then they will take that foreign language along with Thai studies as a requirement from the Thai government. So the students will either take 13 or 12 subjects accordingly. On the subject of language choice, I spoke to many of the students regarding the 3 choices that they have, and I produced a letter that hopefully has reached you, explaining in depth about the choice that you will make now with your son or daughter regarding their language choice for August. If you haven't yet replied with that choice, can you please do so straight away? Once we have those choices, we can start to look at classes for August. Classes will begin the day with tutor group. Now, I've been liaising with my colleagues in Year 6 who have helped me put together 3 tutor groups ready for Year 7 in August, and these 3 tutor groups will be allocated based on friendship groups, based on the ability to work together, and also a bit of a mix-up to make sure we have a range of personalities and characters in these groups. The 3 Year 7 tutors next year will be Mrs. Crossland, Mrs. Phillips and Mr. Morse. Your son or daughter will be allocated one of these, and this will be communicated to you at the beginning of the term. Across the other subjects, many of the subjects follow the registration or the tutor group settings, which means that actually the peer group that they find themselves in with the tutors will be followed through subjects such as computing, DT, PE and several other subjects. English has a separate grouping system, and really the purpose of that is to mix up the students so they have a wide range of experience working with different students of different cultures, different nationalities and also different abilities. Science is also set by tutor group. Maths is the only subject in Year 7 that will have a setting based on ability, and this really is to help those students who have a proven track record of thinking logically to work within a similar peer group and to have the abilities for their teachers to really push and extend their knowledge. Other settings will have teachers supporting students and helping them make the most progress possible. Of course, these settings are totally fluid. As the year progresses, students will be able to move up through the sets, and they'll also have the opportunity to have more support by moving to a more appropriate set. Any of these movements are always communicated with yourselves with the rationale behind it. In terms of organisation, we have a very solid support structure that enables the students to know what they'll be learning, when they'll be learning it, and also what homework or assignments have been set. We use Google and we use Google Classroom for the delivery of many of our subjects. When the student starts in August, they will have a Google Classroom for each of their classes, and the teacher will be sending messages, setting assignments, and also giving feedback and scores and grades via Google Classroom. We also have a paper diary, the student planner, and this is a nice backup or consolidation of a lot of these key dates and tasks. Quite often teachers will ask students to mark down in their planner any homework, and then they can complete it, and this can be tracked using Google Classroom. Indeed, you will have access to view a lot of their summaries in Google Classroom. At the beginning of the year you will receive an email. You can then set how many times you're notified by Google Classroom in terms of any overdue homework, due dates, etc. etc. This is a really handy tool for you to instigate dinner-time conversations about work that is coming up, about any lessons that they've enjoyed that day. Potentially you'll be able to see teacher activity and also teacher resources on that portal. Homework is set not on a everyday basis. Therefore, for example, the school day on a Monday consists of 6 periods. We expect each subject to set 20 minutes of homework per week. So for example, on that Monday we wouldn't expect 6 lots of homework all to be set based on 20 minutes. The homework timetable is printed underneath the student's school timetable, and by using this you can see on what days specific teachers will set specific homework. So for example, on that 6 period day there may be 3 subjects which are allocated that Monday to set homework. Therefore there may only be 1 hour's worth of homework, 20 minutes per subject. Some subjects, being 1 hour per week, may set 1 homework, being 20 minutes. Other subjects which have 2 or 3 slots, such as maths, may be setting 2 to 3 sets of homework on that week. I do recommend that you look at the student homework timetable, because again this is a basis for you to communicate with your son or daughter. You will be informed then about what homework has been set that day, and rather than asking what homework they have, you could say, what homework has science set you for today, knowing that science would have set on that particular day. Equally, Google Classroom is a great source of knowledge in terms of understanding any assignments that are due or outstanding. There is a significant support structure here at BISP, and certainly in Year 7 we look to support the students as they make their first big step into secondary education. The initial support structure starts with the tutor, and I would like to ask students to really use their tutor to pass on any messages to teachers across the curriculum. Now that potentially they may have 12 different teachers on a weekly basis, getting the same message to so many teachers can be problematic. If they have a message about a sporting tournament, or if they are feeling slightly anxious about something, if they could speak to their tutor or to myself as head of middle school, then we can subtly and discreetly pass a message to the most appropriate teachers, and the teachers can then be aware of any situation which is ongoing. Of course, we keep this sensitive to the situation, and we would make sure that only the appropriate stakeholders would know in any conversation. We also have an extensive wellbeing programme here at BISP, and our wellbeing programme not only includes a lesson once every 2 weeks, that's our period 6 on a Wednesday every other week. In these sessions the students will learn everything from how to stretch and train properly, the importance of sleep and a balanced diet, as well as how to retain and navigate friendship issues as they move through their middle school and upper school to the senior school. We have a number of highly trained coaches and counsellors here at the school, and again in August your son or daughter will be introduced to these people and the support structures that they can access either via their tutor or myself, or they can use our SOS alert system on the website, and they can communicate asking for support from a counsellor or a coach discreetly and in an anonymous fashion if that's what is appropriate. If I could give you top tips on how to make a successful and smooth transition from primary into secondary. My first one would be ensure that your son or daughter is punctual every day to school. That ability to be here with plenty of time, to start the day without a rush, to have that time to breathe, to relax, to really understand what their first lesson is, to have communication with their tutor is so vital. I see every day these students who are in their tutor rooms at 7:45, ready for the 7:50 start, and they're in a relaxed, calm and safe environment, ready to get any messages, speak to their peers and be prepared for their period 1. Those students racing in at 7:49 not to be marked late for the 7:50 roll call often find themselves in a state of anxiety and mild panic before the first lesson. Therefore, a level of punctuality can be assisted by yourselves and making sure that the students wake up with plenty of time, have a good breakfast and have all the resources that they need for the day. The second top tip of a successful transition is communication. If you are able to continuously communicate with your son and daughter and find out any issues that they have, these might be friendship issues, these might be concerns regarding their subject choices or curriculum, upcoming homeworks or assessments, you can then communicate with myself or the tutor and we can work together as a team to help support the student. Equally, if the student wants to come directly to us with any concerns, we are happy to then navigate the conversation through the student with yourselves to make sure that between the three of us, the school, the student and the parents, that we can have an effective communication triangle that makes sure that we're aware of all issues, parents are aware how to support the student and the student feels safe, organised and able to communicate freely. The last top tip is the ability to normalise emotions. This will be a big adventure and this will be a testing time for a lot of students. The first day moving up from primary school can seem anxious. However, we open dialogue with the students, we encourage them to speak about how they're feeling and again, with all the support structures that's in place, we normalise these emotions. They will be feeling a whole host of different emotions, not only at the beginning of year 7, but as they start moving through the middle school and through into adolescence. You can be rest assured that we have worked with students for many years, and for these students, the ability to talk openly, honestly, and to normalise these conversations is crucial in making sure that we don't have any underlying anxiety as the students work their way through the years. In fact, those students who are able to openly converse with their teachers, their tutors, myself and yourself often find that they can then have time to focus on their learning and make sure that their attainment is at the best that it could be. So to wrap up, I would like to thank you for supporting the students this week during the transition programme. I would like to really let you know that this is the start of their secondary journey. Hopefully they're going to be having a fantastic time and many opportunities over the next 12 months as they navigate through their first year in secondary school. I am always here, I have an open door policy and you can contact me at any point when you feel you want to discuss either academic, personal or social issues regarding your son or daughter. I will always listen and between ourselves we can have a plan of intervention or support to make sure that your student continues to feel safe and able to engage in their learning. I hope you have found this video useful. If you have any further questions, please have a look at the attached frequently asked question document, and if there's anything outstanding after that, please email me and I'll be happy to help you and answer any of your queries. Thank you very much and have a very pleasant Friday.